All right. Well, happy week 9 in our class. And week 9 is a bit of a transition for us. We finish our CSS, HTML sections. I mean, I know we've only been doing CSS, but still. And we move into our next programming language, JavaScript. So in week 8, your classwork was Visual Basic. But once you learn the basics of syntax, and logic in a programming language, your next language is typically easier. But I wouldn't say we gave you a fundamental course in here. We just introduced you to the concept of Visual Basic, which is pretty true for what you're going to get in JavaScript. But having said that, the thing in classwork this week that I'm going to, challenge you to do this, and many students find this is really fun. It's a kind of a capstone. If you haven't heard the term capstone, it takes into consideration a lot of things that we've learned. So it's kind of like the pinnacle of taking what you've learned into your own knowledge base. And so the video here, and I actually ended up creating a video, kind of what I'm going to show you right now, which is just one of the issues that I saw students run into. And partly because in the video below, the original one I did this work in, there was a little bit of a change on Google's side. So I'll just kind of give you the overview here. You're going to create a site this week, and you're going to do this with several different options as far as the way you accomplish it. But one of the base ways you can do it without an editor, which by the way, having an editor is great. I do, even on my Chromebook, I have Visual Studio Code that I use all the time. It's what I use to do my coding for my advanced classes. But you can actually do this work in the browser. Okay, so and I've given you a link to the starting point, so you end up not having to code this whole thing, but to modify it, which is a great beginning step if you haven't done any coding. But one of the key pieces I'm going to ask you to do is to modify the background here. Now, for me, I happen to remember that in CSS is actually where that background image is referenced. It's not as an image tag in here. It's because of the way it flows in the document. So over here, if I was to bring up this image right now, right, it would represent the background. And so let's hope. Oh, it does. Okay. So what I'm going to do is show you, and I'm using docs.google.com or photos. So you're going to want to do the same thing unless you have a place to store these, okay? Or download them to your local. I mean, it depends, but I think this is the easiest way because you'll basically externally reference, just like we did here, your photo. So in this case now, it doesn't have to be a photo of you. It can be based on what you've selected to do this. And again, more on that later. Step 1, make sure that you actually create a link. And what that does is it shares the photo so that people can look at it. And then when you copy it, you go to it. And I'm just going to do that and then actually close this window and come over here and do that photo. You would think that's the link you could give it, and sometimes that might work, but most of the time you have to do one more step. So now that you have just this photo, you right click and you say copy image. Actually, what I'm looking for here is copy. Oh, let's see. I don't need to open this. Oh, maybe I did. Okay, so I needed to click on it. And then I get copy image address. So I had to click on the image when it was showing up here. I actually had to click on it to get copy image address. And now this image address is huge. The thing is huge, right? And here's how I can show you. So if I come back over here, right where this photo, this URL, if I paste that in and then hit run, that should change that, okay? Now, just what's key there is creating a link, doing it this way. And for those of you that don't use Google Photos, you're going to have to upload something to here, or again, upload it somewhere on the internet that you can reference. All right, so this is really, taking our show on the road this week, and I've really seen that most of you have enjoyed the work that we've been doing in this course on learning some basic HTML and CSS. So my hope is that it just takes it another level. But I'm just going to say, and this is okay, this is one of those assignments kind of like what we did last week, where you really have to take your time, pay attention, do, watch, pause, do, because not only will I show you how to modify it, but I'll also show you how to place it up on a system called GitHub that allow you to then turn that web page into a URL, or I wouldn't consider it a website, but moving in that direction. Okay, so if you want to comment about any of that, the other thing I just want to end with today is that it is International Women's Day. And I know I've been talking about the event down at Bitwise, but I'm also going to say, and I'm going to put this in the post, I want you to review this, right? If you want to make a comment, cool. If you don't, that's cool. You want to talk about something I've covered, right? But just understand that, when we, well, there's so much I could say about International Women's Day. I'm just happy to be trying to play a part in making, at least in the tech sector of our world, having encouraged more people of diversity to come in is my goal, right? So again, if IWD, I'm actually pasting that, iwd.fresno, wtmfresno.com. But I am going to link this into the reply or into the post, so I ask you to look at it. Check out the event. It is tomorrow, so if you're seeing this after Saturday, no bueno. And it is the last week to drop this class. Now, I almost don't want to end with that, because it's not my hope that any of you do, because you can get caught up. But the key is, getting caught up as soon as you can. So again, I think what I covered, but check that out. It's relatively short, but this is really the bulk of what shows you how to get this done. All right, have a good one. Talk to you later.